Nobody saw this coming. Not the cast, not the host, and definitely not the audience watching live. One sentence changed everything. "You married her." The words echoed through the studio like a gunshot, freezing every face in the room. Cameras caught Rasheeda's stunned expression, half disbelief, half heartbreak. While Kirk sat there, eyes darting, lips parting, but no sound escaping. The host leaned forward, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let chaos unfold. The audience gasped. Phones lifted instantly, ready to capture the moment that would dominate social media within minutes. Even the background music faded as if the universe itself went silent for this revelation. Nobody expected marriage papers. Nobody expected Jasmine to be the one holding. The tension wasn't just awkward, it was explosive, historic. The kind of reality TV moment that shifts careers, reputations, and fan loyalties in seconds. A simple question had turned into a public betrayal, and as the studio lights burned hotter, Rasheeda's hand trembled on her lap. Holding back a storm the world would soon witness. The reunion set sparkled. Neon lights, mirrored floors, and a stage designed for drama. Every seat was a throne, every camera an unblinking witness. The cast arrived dressed for war, disguised as glamour, sequins, heels, shades, and smirks. Rasheeda entered last, poised, polished, but the silence that followed her said everything. Across the room, Kirk couldn't sit still. He adjusted his mic, checked his phone, laughed too loudly at jokes that weren't funny. Even the host, Big Tiger, sensed the off energy. The audience clapped, but their eyes were scanning, searching for sparks. Jasmine sat in her corner, quiet yet confident, the only one not performing. Her calm wasn't peace, it was precision. Producers whispered behind the stage curtain, sensing something brewing. Rasheeda caught Jasmine's eye for a split second, a look that could cut glass. The air thickened, every minor gesture, a hair flip, a smirk, a side-eye, became a headline waiting to happen. By the time the lights dimmed and the first question was asked, everyone knew this wasn't going to be a normal reunion. This was about to become the moment reality TV would replay for years. The calm before the scandal. Before the explosion, there were signs, tiny, overlooked moments that only made sense later. Jasmine arrived, clutching a manila envelope, edges creased from being held too tight. She wouldn't put it down. Between every camera reset, she checked her phone, scrolling, typing, deleting, like someone confirming timing. Kirk, meanwhile, looked restless. He excused himself twice before the second segment, muttering something about the bathroom, but the mic he forgot to mute caught faint whispers. "Not now, she won't." The audio texts glanced at each other but said nothing. Behind the stage curtain, a producer spoke urgently into his earpiece. "If she brings it out, stay wide." No cut stopped the audience. Unaware laughed at filler questions while tension simmered beneath the surface. Even the lighting crew sensed it. One of them whispered, "Something's about to happen." On social media, viewers watching the live taping started noticing, too. Tweets poured in, "Why Jasmine looked like she got proof. Kirk sweating like he's hiding something." The hashtag that envelope started trending before anyone knew what it meant. Rasheeda, but distant, crossed her legs and stared straight ahead like a queen already aware her court was plotting. When the host turned back to Jasmine for her segment, she straightened her back, slid the envelope onto her lap, and smiled. The storm was seconds away. It started with one sentence. Quiet, steady, deliberate, "Because I'm his wife." The room froze. Big Tiger blinked, unsure if he heard her right. A split second later, gasps echoed through the audience. Jasmine reached for the envelope, her nails tapping the seal before she tore it open and held up a paper. A marriage license, dated and signed. The camera zoomed in, catching Kirk's expression collapsing in real time. His hands clenched, his jaw locked, but his silence said more than words ever could. Rasheeda didn't move. She just stared, not at Jasmine, not at Kirk, but at the document fluttering in the studio lights. The crowd went wild. Crew members whispered frantically into headsets. The host's cue card slipped from his hand. Even security took a step closer, unsure if the moment was about to explode into chaos. Jasmine placed the paper on the coffee table in front of them and said it again louder this time. "Legally, on paper, I am his wife." Cameras caught every angle. Rasheeda blank stare, Kirk's nervous swallow, and Jasmine's unwavering calm. The internet lit up instantly. Screenshots, the words marriage license live trended within minutes. Big Tiger tried to regain control, but the damage was done. Rasheeda stood slowly, her mic still live, eyes glassy yet strong. She whispered one sentence that would echo across time. "I'm not breaking, I'm freeing." Then she turned. Heels clicking against the floor, leaving silence and history behind her. The moment hung in the air like a thunderclap that refused to fade. Rasheeda didn't scream. She didn't flinch. She simply stared at the paper lying in front of her. That so-called proof of betrayal. As the crowd buzzed with disbelief, cameras zoomed closer, capturing every flicker in her eyes. Then, without warning, she reached forward, picked up the marriage license, and let it fall back to the floor. Slow, deliberate, a rejection so silent it roared louder than any curse could. Kirk stood up, stammering, "It's not what it looks like." But his voice cracked under the weight of his own guilt. Jasmine smirked, still seated, adjusting her mic like a woman too comfortable in her own chaos. Rasheeda finally spoke, voice calm, almost icy. "You can have the paperwork. I'll keep my peace." The audience gasped again. Kirk reached out, trying to touch her arm, but she stepped back. The host looked toward producers offstage, signaling for a break. Instead, they motioned to keep rolling. This was too raw, too real to cut. Rasheeda removed her mic, unclipped it with one smooth motion, and placed it on the coffee table beside that crumpled license. "You embarrassed yourself, not me," she said quietly before turning toward the exit. As she walked off, the studio fell into complete silence. Even the background track muted itself, leaving only the sound of her heels clicking like a countdown. The cameras followed until the door shut behind her. That door slam became the moment's punctuation, the mic drop that would echo across pop culture for months. Behind the curtain, chaos hummed, crew members whispered, phones rang, and producers scrambled to figure out if she'd come back. But Rasheeda wasn't crying. Inside the green room, she sat quietly in front of the mirror, lights reflecting her calm, not her pain. She slipped off her heels, the same ones that clicked like thunder just moments ago, and exhaled for what felt like the first time all night. The marriage license wasn't on her mind anymore. Her own reflection was. A makeup artist approached, asking softly, "You okay?" Rasheeda smiled faintly. Better than ever. Her phone buzzed with notifications, but she didn't look. She adjusted her jewelry, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and whispered, "Run the cameras." Moments later, she walked barefoot back onto the stage. No mic, no script, no filter. The audience, stunned, rose to their feet. She took center stage and said, "This isn't a breakdown, this is a breakthrough." The words cut through the noise, raw and real. "You can't humiliate a woman who's healed. You can only expose the man who hasn't." The crew froze. Even the host just nodded silently, letting her speak. The scene wasn't planned. It was power reclaiming its place. Rasheeda had turned her heartbreak into her headline. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Clips from the live feed hit every platform: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Faster than the network could even issue a statement. The moment Rasheeda dropped the certificate looped endlessly, set to dramatic music and slow-motion filters. Fans crowned her the Queen of Grace, while others dissected every second of Kirk's trembling hands. The phrase, "You can't humiliate a woman who's healed," became an instant viral audio used in thousands of empowerment edits. Influencers reenacted the walk-off. Makeup brands reposted her calm face with captions like, "Stay composed, stay flawless." Memes of Kirk holding invisible papers flooded timelines with hashtags like marriage license mess and Rasheeda run the world. Talk shows picked it up within hours. Panel discussions about dignity, loyalty, and how reality TV just blurred into real life. Even verified celebrities dropped comments calling her speech iconic. By morning, Rasheeda wasn't just trending, she was the story. News outlets called it the calmest explosion in TV history. And while Kirk hid from cameras, Rasheeda gained millions of new followers overnight. Her silence, her composure, her power, all became the internet's new obsession. Her power, all became the internet's new obsession. The world had just witnessed heartbreak evolve into history. Live unfiltered and unforgettable. Unfiltered and unforgettable. Just when fans thought the storm had passed, Carly Red decided otherwise. During an Instagram Live with over 100,000 viewers, she leaned forward, smirking at the camera, and said, "Y'all think that license was the only paper? Please." Then came the receipts. Carly held up a lease agreement. Kirk's name listed right beside another woman's, Zuri Bell, an aspiring influencer rumored to have been seen around him for months. The address, a sleek condo in Buckhead, Atlanta, paid in full under a shell company tied to Kirk's business. The internet detonated. Within hours, bloggers dug deeper, uncovering photos of furniture deliveries, tagged locations, and messages allegedly exchanged between Zuri and AK. Screenshots flooded time, but the real bombshell dropped when a former production assistant from the show posted anonymous DMIs, claiming there were 2 more women tied to similar arrangements, leases, gifts, and business mentorships. Whistleblower accounts released audio snippets where Kirk's voice could allegedly be heard discussing keeping things quiet till the reunion. The show's producers neither confirmed nor denied the leaks, fueling even more speculation. By the end of the night, Kirk condo trended at number 1. Memes showed blueprints of the alleged apartment like crime scene diagrams. The betrayal wasn't just emotional anymore. It was financial, layered, and deliberate. Rasheeda's heartbreak had officially turned into a public investigation, and fans were now playing detectives, connecting every hidden piece of the puzzle. While chaos raged online, Rasheeda made her next move, TOM/strategic, and devastatingly precise. A single photo dropped on her Instagram, her walking out of a downtown Atlanta law firm, head held high, black sunglasses on, a folder tucked under her arm. The caption read only one word: closure. TMZ confirmed it within hours. She'd filed for divorce. But she wasn't stopping there. Rasheeda's lawyers reportedly demanded a forensic audit of every business under their joint ownership, from their boutiques to restaurant ventures. Fans called it revenge through receipts. Then came her masterstroke, the Leftovers collection. Overnight, her fashion brand announced a limited edition drop, hoodies, and tees with bold white lettering reading, "I'm not what you left behind. I'm what you lost." Within 24 hours, it sold out. Rasheeda didn't rant. She monetized. She didn't argue. She rebranded. Every move was intentional, building a narrative of empowerment that flipped her pain into profit. Talk shows analyzed her as the new blueprint for handling public betrayal. Elegant, silent, and calculated. The same woman who walked off in heartbreak was now walking into boardrooms with power. Rasheeda wasn't surviving the scandal. She was capitalizing on it. In the aftermath, Kirk finally spoke. Or at least tried to. Sitting across from a popular podcast host, he wore a somber expression and used all the classic buzzwords: growth, mistakes, accountability. But the words felt hollow. He avoided direct questions about the marriage license, deflecting with phrases like, "It's complicated, and we're all human." Clips from the interview went viral for all the wrong reasons. Fans flooded the comments with eye-roll emojis and clips of Rasheeda's silent walk-off as contrast. Even the host struggled to hide discomfort when Kirk referred to Jasmine as someone I cared about but didn't mean to hurt. By the end of the episode, it was clear this wasn't redemption. It was reputation damage control, and the public wasn't buying it. While Kirk tried to rebuild his image, Rasheeda had already rebuilt her empire. The game had shifted and she'd already won. Just when the internet began to settle, Jasmine lit the fire again. Out of nowhere, she posted a sonogram photo on her Instagram story. No caption, just a black and white image tagged with the date and a cryptic heart emoji. The timing couldn't have been more explosive. Fans immediately flooded her comments, demanding answers. Is it Kirk's? Within minutes, gossip blogs had screenshots up, and the speculation reignited like wildfire. A few days later, Jasmine went live. Her tone was calm, even smug. "Yes," she said, "I'm pregnant. And yes, it's Kirk's." That single admission sent shockwaves through every platform. Hashtags like Kirk baby drama trended overnight. Even verified celebrities joined in the chaos with one posting, "That man needs to open a clinic for bad decisions." But the real twist came weeks later. Another live, same setup. This time, Jasmine held up a white envelope of her own. "Since y'all wanted the truth," she said, pulling out a DNA test result on camera. "It's not his." The silence after that statement was deafening. Her expression flickered between relief and embarrassment. While fans in the comments turned savage, some accused her of chasing clout. Others said she was manipulated. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Kirk looked foolish but vindicated. Jasmine lost credibility. And Rasheeda, she stayed silent again, proving that silence in her hands was louder than chaos itself. Just when viewers thought the saga had reached its final chapter, new leaks surfaced. This time from inside the production team. Anonymous accounts began posting voice notes, allegedly featuring Kirk, discussing NDA's hush money, and keeping stories quiet till filming ends. One clip even hinted at him warning another woman to stay off socials. Then came Tasha, a former stylist on the show, who went on TikTok with her own story. She claimed producers often covered for certain cast members, and that Jasmine wasn't the only one. Fans pieced together timelines, comparing flight records, event tags, and cryptic Instagram captions that seemed to connect Kirk to 2 additional women. The chaos doubled when a former production assistant dropped an audio file where a male voice, allegedly Kirk's, could be heard saying, "As long as the camera's rolling, I'm untouchable." Whether real or fake, It was damning enough to reignite every conspiracy thread online. The network stayed quiet, issuing only a brief statement about ongoing internal review. But the damage was done. The show's legacy had turned into a living soap opera, feeding a scandal that refused to die. Every week a new leak. Every day, a new theory. Weeks later, Rasheeda finally broke her silence on her own terms. The network aired a 1-hour special titled Raya's EDA, Rebuild and Stand Higher Every Day Again. It wasn't dramatic, it was cinematic. Dim lights, soft instrumentals, and Rasheeda speaking directly to the camera, not as a cast member, but as a woman reborn. She didn't mention Kirk by name. Instead, she spoke about forgiveness, peace, and power. Her tone calm, but unshakable. The documentary-style special showed clips of her rebuilding her boutique, mentoring young women, and literally hammering nails into a new store sign, a symbolic rebuild of her foundation. The final montage showed her locking the boutique for the night, looking into the distance as the narrator's voice, her own, said, "They can try to write your ending, but you decide the last line." Fade to black. No tears, no drama, just triumph. In the end, the dust didn't fully settle. It just changed shape. The truth about Kirk's actions remains tangled between receipts, rumors, and regrets. Jasmine vanished from social media. Her accounts wiped clean. Kirk's business pages turned off comments. Rasheeda, meanwhile, stood taller than ever, booked, busy, and branded. Fans are still debating, was Jasmine lying from the start? Did Kirk manipulate both women? And most importantly, did Rasheeda win by walking away or by staying silent? One thing's certain, the reunion wasn't just an episode, it was a cultural moment, a mirror reflecting what happens when dignity meets drama. So now the question goes to you, the viewers. Was Yandy wrong? Did Rasheeda handle it like a queen? Or did this story expose something deeper about loyalty and self-worth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for part 2. And remember, every empire rebuilds, but only a queen decides when the cameras roll again. Decides when the cameras roll again. Decides when the cameras roll again.